Wee! Wee! Whoa! Wee! Hello and welcome to Chapter 4 of my virtual reality escape room development log. This week, my first task is to be able to slot the glass lenses into the projector properly. I first added a mesh collider to the lens slots as a whole, but I just could not get the lens to stay in the position I wanted properly. So I brought everything back into Blender and separated out the lens slots so that I could interact with each one separately. The Unity XR Interaction Toolkit has a component called an XR Socket Interactor, and what this does is you can specify an attached transform, and when an interactable object hovers over it and you release it from your VR grip, it will snap into place in the position you define, like we've got here. Now the empty objects that I've used to represent the attaching positions are just oriented the wrong way, so let me fix that. And what we should see is that they are now properly oriented. Cool, excellent stuff. But what you'll notice is that the light from the projector is all magenta, and that's not what we want. What we actually want is for the light to be white until it reaches a lens, at which point it should change colour according to the colour of the lens it is passing through. To make things easier, I separated the light cone into multiple sections. I initially tried just 3 sections, but the effect was kind of undesirable in Unity because you could see the boundary of the conic sections within the light cone. So instead, I used combined sections where the boundaries would be hidden by the lenses themselves, and then I amended the triggers so that the light in front of any lens would change colour, like so. So here we've got blue light coming out only after it's passed through the blue lens, and then the red light only from the red lens, and magenta through both. Cool. Next, we've got something which I'm embarrassed to say took me hours to implement, and it's simply to try and get the top off a bottle. I tried a lot of different things to get this to work, including using the socket interactor that we mentioned earlier, and a number of different colliders. The initial results were promising. I mean, it's a bit wobbly, but then when I tried to grab it, it kind of just stayed there, but was still slowly being, okay. And then it was possessed. It just would not stop turning, and then it just stopped moving whatsoever unless you hit it with something. And oh, no, come back. So to make this work properly, I needed a collider for the bottleneck and a collider for the stem of the bottle top. Unfortunately, there are no cylindrical colliders in Unity, so you have to create it yourself out of other box colliders. So this is what I had in the end, but I wanted to make sure that the bottle top had a hard time of getting out of the bottleneck. So I created a physics material and applied some friction on it, and then added that physics material to all of the colliders. Now, what you can see is that I can pick out the bottle top quite easily, but it doesn't fall out very easily at all. Now that I can take the top off the bottle, I want to be able to pour the contents out of it. So to do this, I just copied the particle system from the sink and applied it to the opening of the bottle. I played around with the properties a bit, changing the colour, changing the size, etc. And I also added a world collider so that any of the particles that are emitted from the particle system will collide with any other object and won't go through them. Once I was done with that, I wrote some code so that the particle system would only start up when the pour angle of the bottle had gone past the horizontal, and would also stop when the pour angle became greater than the horizontal. Putting that all together, I can now pour acid out of the bottle, which is great. It does act in a little bit of a weird way that probably wouldn't happen in real life, but nevertheless, I'm happy with that for now. You can also pass the stream over other objects, like the table, and the stream won't go through it. It is acid. Maybe it should. Anyway, here's the copper carbonate, and now that I've done that for the bottle, I can just apply the exact same procedure to the copper carbonate. So when I turn it up, here we've got a kind of radioactive looking powder, but it's falling out nonetheless. I did the same thing to the salt. That looks like a pressure washer. And then I'm basically in a desert with the silica sand. I put all of the bowls on the shelf, and to me they kind of look a bit like jellyfish. Okay, so that is it for this week. Thank you very much again for watching. Do like and subscribe and all that jazz. Next time we are going to be looking at opening the book, because the book is going to tell you what to do in the room. So stay tuned and I'll see you next time.